Hey everybody, my name is Mark. Welcome to Be Kind Rewind. I'm this week's host, and this is the show where we review anything and everything about entertainment. If you're looking for a frighteningly good time this Halloween, Eastern North Carolina is home to some of the scariest and most thrilling haunted houses in the Southeast. Here are two of the top haunts in Eastern North Carolina. Located in Youngsville, North Carolina, the haunted house at Panic Point is in its 11th year and is one of the most attended outdoor haunts in the eastern part of the state. Not suitable for children or the faint of heart, children under 9 are actually not even allowed inside this haunt. Featuring a large center area with multiple bonfires and a live DJ, Panic Point is made up of 5 separate haunted attractions and 35 unique scenes that range from the mildly spooky on the hayride to the completely terrifying on the dark trail. The haunted trail is the main attraction, of course, where you will find the most scenes, haunters, and screams at Panic Point. 11 distinct scenes over the dim half-mile trail challenge your readiness for mayhem and fright. The scene masters at Panic Point work year-round on this, and the other 2 big attractions, and let me just say the annual visit is always worth it. This and the dark trail never disappoint those looking for some seriously spooky fun. Speaking of the dark trail, this feature started out in 2011 as what was called the Dark Walk, a literal walk through the woods in the dark, holding on to nothing but a rope on each side, which quite frankly was scary as hell. Over time, several themed scenes were added, but the darkness remained, and so does the fear. The rope on both sides of the trail also remains, but that is the only way the Dark Walk, which is now known as the Dark Trail, even resembles its earlier version. Out of all the attractions at Panic Point, this is by far the most intense. From creatures in the dark along the trail that you literally cannot see in the woods, to a haunted bus and even a laser swamp, you do not want to miss the Dark Trail. After being down for a season, okay, several seasons if you count intensity, the Howling Hayride at Panic Point is back and is much improved this season. So let's face it, in the past you went on the hayride to rest your feet. There just wasn't much intensity to it outside of the chainsaw and the bar scene. However, the scene masters at Panic Point had an entire extra year because of social distancing requirements to master the hayride, and they promise that it is back and better than ever. And quite frankly, I personally can't wait to ride the thing this year and see what they've come up with. Now, if you're into horror movie slashers, and who isn't into horror movie slashers, the Killers in the Corn is the attraction at Panic Point for you. Inside, you will find all of your favorite iconic horror slashers just waiting to cut you up. I mean, cut up with you. This is by far my favorite attraction at Panic Point. The center area there is just that. It's a place to congregate, have some food for mom and dad to wait and warm up by the fire, and where the haunters that really have no clue how to scare you, and they're assigned there to hang out with chainsaws. So if you're the scaredy cat, that's your place to hang out at Panic Point. Now, Panic Point gets a solid 4 out of 5, and if the hayride is up to stuff this year, it easily moves to a full 5. You can get their hours and pricing at RaleighHauntedHouse.com. Now, when we come back, we'll take a look at my personal favorite haunt to visit, and it's closer than you think.
Whether you learn best in an online environment or you prefer a face-to-face experience, Nash Community College offers both to meet your educational goals. If you're looking to enhance your skills or need a new calling, NCC provides short-term training opportunities that lead to new careers. You can schedule a campus tour or request information directly at nashcc.edu/info. Enroll today and get your future started.
We are the Darkside Haunted Estates, a real haunted adventure.
Welcome back to Be Kind Rewind. Anyone who has ever braved the dark side haunted estates knows that familiar face. That's Jerry, a longtime staple and the hauntingly welcoming fixture that greets every single patron that enters the haunt. Personally, he's probably one of my favorite parts of the venue because seeing him at the entrance, it's like seeing an old friend, one dressed as a vampire threatening to remove all your blood, but an old friend nonetheless. Darkside isn't your average haunted house. For 40 years, Darkside Haunted Estates in Johnston County near Middlesex has been the ultimate spot for chills and thrills and is one of the oldest and quite frankly best themed haunts in North Carolina. The attention to detail spent on each and every set is mind-blowing. The theming is something you would expect at one of those huge theme parks that might be run by a mouse or even a killer whale, depending on where you go. There is not any part of it that's not haunted, so if you're the faint of heart, you might want to wait for the Christmas event to enjoy it. Darkside's layout makes it more of a haunted adventure than just a haunt, and that's what part of makes it so cool. So once you've said hello to Jerry at the gate and you've been granted the access to your own demise, you make your way to the line for the Mayhem Hayride. And the first thing that you notice is that all of the trams are returning empty. As you board the tram and head back through the haunted barn and the old western town, you are joined by the creatures of the trail. But hold on tight, this ride gets a bit erratic. At the end of the ride lies the entrance to the quarter-mile maze of thrills and chills that passes through amazing sets full of Victorian house facades, barns, huge boats, and the all-new crypt that leads to the cemetery where demons and beasts await you. As you near the end of the trail and you think everything's going to be okay, you come upon JoJo's Clown Town. And if you aren't scared by the time you get to JoJo's, you will be when you leave JoJo's. Exiting the trail, you'll come upon the slaughterhouse to your left, which is another amazing experience with incredible theming and lots of gruesome scares. Exiting Slaughterhouse, you'll find the Bondi Hotel, a truly unique experience in haunted hospitality and one that's seriously scary elevator ride. The place gives new meaning to checking in and never checking out. Finally, you can walk across the Midway area to the asylum where autopsies and embalming as well as things that go bump in the night await you. And if you're feeling extra brave, you might attempt the Buried Alive simulator. And yes, it feels like you are being buried alive. The haunt kicks off every Friday and Saturday night at 7 p.m. with a freak show parade of characters entering the haunt. So make sure you get there early. Of course, one of my favorite things about this haunt is the fact that when haunt season ends, the cast at Darkside managed to completely retool the hayride in Midway in 2 weeks into a Christmas wonderland for the holidays. The Christmas event truly offers a unique experience that is fun for the entire family. So as far as haunts go, Darkside is easily one of the most intense experiences in Eastern North Carolina, and it gets a solid 5 out of 5. Now we're going to take a short pause, and we'll see you back here in 60 seconds to talk about a new fan film called The Last Nightmare, which of course features Master Slasher Wes Craven's Freddy Krueger. And later, we'll also talk to the man behind the fan film, so don't go away. Welcome back. It was impossible to be a child of the 80s and not know who Freddy Krueger was. Wes Craven's Dream Warrior single-handedly saved New Line Cinema from complete financial collapse with the first film alone, and the studio quickly became known as the house that Freddy built. The franchise was so popular that it turned a 9-film nightmare-making machine that established Freddy as the horror icon of the 1980s and made us all terrified to go to sleep at night. I remember being 12 years old, not wanting to walk down Elm Street in Spring Hope, and then I realized every town has an Elm Street. The original 8 films all starred one man, Robert Englund, as the knife-glove-wielding slasher. A 2010 reboot of the original without Englund as Krueger bombed, and the franchise went dormant. Most fans see the 8th film, Freddy vs. Jason, as the final in the series, and that was 18 years ago. However, a recent fan film and concept trailer entitled The Last Nightmare from local horror guru Jermaine Nix of Main Genius Productions takes a different look at Freddy and a look back at his childhood and the path that led him to become the fictional iconic serial killer that the parents of Springwood burned to death to protect their children, only to have him start showing up and killing them in their dreams, but actually making it happen in real life. In the film, we find out that Freddy always had that thirst for blood and mayhem, even as a child. The film stars Samantha Larkin and Brandon Wagner as Nix's version of Krueger. Let's take a look at the trailer for The Last Nightmare. Welcome back to Be Kind Rewind. I am here with writer, director, and producer of The Last Nightmare, Jermaine Nix of Main Genius Productions. Jermaine is involved in a lot more than just filmmaking. He does a lot of stuff with anti-bullying and things of that nature. And he's very active on social media and things of that nature. But we're here to talk about The Last Nightmare. So tell me, Jermaine, welcome to the show first.
Thank you.
Who inspired you to get into horror?
Actually, James Wan. He did all the Conjuring, all the Insidious films. That's definitely my role model of getting into horror, because his vision with horror and the camera work and all his stories are amazing.
Cool. So what drove you to Freddy?
Freddy Krueger is someone that you can't pretty much run away from, even when he comes to your world, especially he's in the dreams, but when he comes to your world, you're pretty much in trouble. Freddy Krueger is just that classic slasher that just is an amazing horror character that just pretty much brings everyone scared. Even if you look at him, it's like, oh, you're in trouble.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the film. Take us through, it goes back to his childhood. Is that what I'm seeing? So,
yes. So yeah, it's starting off like when he was I think 12 years old, and he starts realizing that he's not normal. He started killing his pets, his pet cat, and then he started having a slumber party with his friends, and he slaughtered his friends, and then pretty much he realized that this was his new psychology problem that he needed to figure it out. His mom thought it was normal, that he was going through a boy stage and he didn't want his son to get help. And but there's a backstory that his father was kind of doing the same thing, and she was making sure that it wasn't normal for a normal boy to kind of go through a stage like this, but she kind of didn't want to actually believe it.
So you're bringing in the whole family dynamic, the whole Krueger family
yes.
is coming into this film. Wow. And this was shot locally?
Correct.
Okay. And obviously, I think you had local actors involved in this as well, which is something that you like to do with your films.
Correct.
So, if someone happens to be watching, if you follow Jermaine on his stuff, he always puts his casting calls out for crew and for talent and everything else. So, Last Nightmare, when does it drop?
It drops October 29th on YouTube, and it's under Main Genius Productions on my YouTube channel.
And is that your YouTube channel as well?
Correct.
Main Genius Productions. So, and what other social media can folks follow you on?
Every social media.
Is it all under Main Genius?
Yes.
All under Main Genius Productions. So, thank you for coming out today and talking to us about Freddy. I happen to love Freddy. I spent a lot of time on this particular set with you. I know you've got some other really cool stuff. What's that next one called?
It's going to be Fearsome Howls. That's going to be my first creature film, which the costume that we're building is actually going to be 7 feet tall.
And this is completely your concept
Correct.
as well.
Yes.
That is awesome. I can't wait to be a part of that film, man. I can't wait to be a part of that film. So, thank you for coming out today, and thank you for joining us on Be Kind Rewind. And in just 7 days, next Friday, Do Something Interesting will be back, and we hope that you come back then. And I don't know what talent they've got, but it's always something great, funny, whatever you want to see, it's going to be here. We'll see you then. Thank you for coming, and we're out.